Greetings and welcome to the 37th episode of Morrowind Modding Showcases. As always, I'm your host Dark Elf Guy, and today marks our 1 year anniversary since starting the channel. It's been a crazy ride, with over 100 videos produced, 500 mods showcased, and just so much more. We've gone from a channel that just showcased mods, to interviewing modders, making trailers and tutorials, and hosting new events and competitions to promote modding. Who would have guessed a year ago that we would not only still be around, but that we would accomplish so much? Here's to another year of Morrowind Modding Showcases, and to another year of Morrowind, the game of the year, every year. Now with that said, we have a great show for you, with 13 more mods for your viewing pleasure, and as always you can find download links for each one down below. I'll also take a moment to say that you guys should definitely check out ModTown 2015, our new community project for the community, by the community. You'll find an annotation on the video right over here. Now why don't we go ahead and get started with our popular mod of the week, which this week is Landscape Overhaul by Logan. This mod is a massive overhaul of the landscape textures in Morrowind, replacing the old landscape textures of before with updated and high resolution ones. Here you can see the West Gash with these new textures, and you can tell they're pretty varied and detailed. And here you can see the Ascadian Isles, where the road textures especially stand out, but you also notice some higher detailed hill textures as well. The Bitter Coast region is now painted with a rich variety of green and brown colors, highlighting the swampy nature of this region. And the Ashlands and Malag Al Mor regions have also been given a total makeover as well, with nice high-resolution ash ground textures that really emphasize that you're in the middle of a wasteland. Of course, even here there's a bit of color to the textures, with scorched earth and mud also playing a role in the landscape. Naturally, you'll also find some lovely new textures in the Azurian Isles region as well. Indeed, the sort of untamed nature of the Azurian Isles region is really enhanced with these fantastic new textures that just sort of add a bit of color to the region, with beautiful beaches, rocky slopes, and gravelly roads that dot the landscape. And here you can see a brief glimpse of what South of Mor looks like with these new ground textures. And here's the grazelands of Eastern Vvardenfell, with a variety of green grass textures playing over the hillsides. And finally we have the greys of the Western Ashlands, which make for a rather beautiful, if desolate, landscape. There's all of this and much more to check out in this massive texture package that covers pretty much all of Vvardenfell. For our house mod of the week this week, we have Blade Safe House by Lithok. Many of you probably know the Bloodbath quest given by Larius Pharaoh in Balmora, and what this mod does is add a little something extra to the Balmora Council Club after you've cleared the place out. You'll find this NPC when you enter the club again, and they'll teach you a spell of sorts to open a secret passage to the Blade Safe House, located deep beneath Balmora. This will lead you to an elevator platform that'll take you straight down to the entrance of this secret Blades facility. And this is quite a long drop, I would not recommend jumping down this shaft. Inside is a large base, including a map of Vvardenfell, an open bar for Imperial agents, several bedrooms for service NPCs, as you can see here. And there's also a master quarters for your personal use, including mannequins and a master bedroom, with a little extra display space as well. Now these are working mannequins, so that means you can use them to display armor and clothing. You'll also find a number of staff NPCs who'll explain why the space is located here and what the purpose of this base is. There's a fairly nice background story behind the place, and you'll be provided with a teleport spell that you can use to get back to the base whenever you want, and you'll find that this base is equipped with more than enough storage for your personal use. And there's also a sizable display hall, for showing off items, including display cases for things like weapons or artifacts, and mannequins for showing off armor and clothing. One of the really big features with this house mod though is a quite frankly brilliant armor sorter. Click the button on this pedestal and the armor in your inventory will magically fly up and float to an armor mannequin nearby and equip itself. This works for pretty much all the armor sets in vanilla Morrowind, and you can just sit back and enjoy the show as armor moves into place on its own accord. As you can see here. And it really is quite a mesmerizing process. You'll notice that there's a hall for each type of armor: medium armor, light armor, and heavy armor. Another major feature of this mod is a massive library, composed of several large halls, as you can see here, and is equipped with a very unique type of book sorter. Just give books to this NPC, and he'll automatically walk off to hand place each book on an individual lectern. And it should be noted that you can give him as many books as you want. You can give him 5, or 1, or 20, and he'll go through and place each book in alphabetical order. Though this may take a while depending on exactly how many books you give him. After placing each book, he'll go off to place the next one you give him, and you can give him more books during this process as well. You can also leave and come back to find all the books in the correct spots. There's all of this and much more to check out with Blade's Safe House. A very unique type of house mod, if I do say so myself. This week's gameplay mod of the week is Airship by Xan. With this mod, you'll find new Duma airships all around Vardenfell, like this one here in the West Cache. And in order to use them, you must first go to Caldera and purchase some tokens from this fellow here. He'll also tell you a bit of the history of these airships and what their purpose is. Once you have these tokens in hand, you can head over to one of these massive and quite frankly beautiful Duma airships and seek transportation elsewhere. These operate much like Strider ports, with the addition of a few guards, who also have some unique dialogue about the airships. Just talk to the Duma helmsman here and select the destination you wish to travel to. And this will cost you one of these special tokens. And there's also an interior to these airships, including several Duma mechanisms, as you might expect. And of course there's also airship schematics. You can also talk to the airship mechanic, who has a small repeatable quest that you can use to trade ore for gold. You can take these airships to a number of different destinations across Vardenfell, including Dagenfell to the north, which is only appropriate given the number of Duma ruins surrounding it, and Vivec to the south, where the ship is docked on the upper tiers of the Halalu Canton, as you can see here. There's also Sadrith Mora, where apparently the wizards don't mind a giant airship in their skies, and Ghost Gate, where you can easily find transport out of these blasted blight storms. And there's many other locales as well. Next up is our dungeon mod of the week, and this week we have the Cave of Woe by Sidim. With this mod, you'll find a curious message hidden in the Razor Hall in Balmora, talking about a new dungeon near Sidanin. This will lead you to the old smuggler hideout on the outskirts of town, where you'll find a new, heavily locked dungeon entrance. Inside you'll find a set of caverns home to more than a few undead. Not to mention several documents, like this one here, that reveal some of the story behind these mysterious caverns. And overall, this is a moderately good-sized dungeon, with several open areas like this one here, and several branching rooms. And naturally, there's a ton of opponents to face, from skeletons to rafts and giant chromoforges. And this is a mod that's really aimed at mid-level characters. You won't be able to come in here with a low-level character. You should probably be around level 10 to 15 to really face the caverns of woe. And there's a fair bit to see here, not to mention plenty of loot for the enterprising adventurers. But you should be a fairly good level again before you can play this mod, because it is a bit on the difficult side. For our items mod of the week this week, we have Shield Weapons by Melkor Dog and Jojo. With this mod, you'll find a curious portal in the Shrine of Shilgrath that'll take you to a small slice of the Shivering Isles, as you can see here. This is a very small set of beautifully detailed islands, where you'll find a few portals just scattered about that'll hop you around and bring you to various chests containing new weapons and armor, as you can see here. And in total, there's 3 new weapons and 1 new shield for you to find. Here you can see these new weapons up close, which includes a warhammer, a war axe, and a longsword, not to mention the shield, and each of these are just beautifully detailed and provide a unique addition to your personal arsenal of weapons, as you can see here. This week's quest mod of the week is Trouble at Sea by Dan Jib. In Ebonheart, you'll come across this NPC who will offer to take you to see a dragon, or rather a ship called the Dragon. You'll arrive on board this rather strangely named ship, where you'll find a variety of different characters, each with unique personalities and a fair bit of unique dialogue. And a lot of this dialogue hints at a few things for you to discover. Indeed, there's a few quests associated with this ship, and also a fair few things hidden for you to find on your own. Down below, you'll find a cozy ship cabin that you can make your own home during your stay on this peculiar vessel. And there's a number of activities for you to do on the ship, including fishing with the rowboat, or using torches to set fire to various unfortunately placed barrels, as you can see here. And going to Smuggler Caverns, we will find a variety of illicit goods for sale from less than upstanding citizens, some of them quite useful, and others less so. As you can see here. Eventually, as part of this quest series, you'll get to explore a few dungeons and fight through various caverns, as you seek to help out the crew of the Dragon. Next up is our Landmass Mod of the week, which this week is Strange Grove by JMK. With this mod, when you're next in Ald Velothi, you can now get transportation to a new island off the eastern coast of Solstheim. This will bring you to Ropafund Island, a small landmass home to a prosperous village, including a town center, complete with a working clock, and a number of NPC homes and shops, as you can see here. Capping off the island is a large royal palace, home to the local governing body. And on the other side of this palace can be found another part of the town. The island itself has a small lake and grove of trees in the center, which lend a very peaceful and scenic beauty to this northern land of the Nords. You also find some scattered NPC residents on the far side of the island that have a lovely view of the ocean. Many of the residents of this island are a bit on the quirky side, collecting strange artifacts or other items. But many of them also offer side quests with decent rewards. And indeed, most of the NPCs here have some unique dialogue and a quest or two for you to do. And of course, many of the houses here display the eccentric natures of their owners, who of course offer yet more quests. In total, there's about 12 different quest lines for you to do on the island. There's also plenty of services on the island, including a smith with a fair amount of gold, as you can see here, and a candy shop with lots of new treats unique to the island that you can buy, such as candy canes or candy gelatins. You also find a rather lovely and well-decorated palace, which plays home, naturally, to a king and queen. As you can see here, the king will give you the first in a long series of main quests regarding threats to the island, and this is a fairly lengthy main quest that will take you about 5 to 6 hours to complete, depending on how fast you do it. And there's also some unique dialogue for the queen as well. Naturally, this main quest includes a number of fights and dungeon delving, such as killing bandits in the name of the king. You also fight numerous opponents alongside your allies, delving through such dungeons as old military bases that have been abandoned. Like this one here. And also delving through ancient Daedric ruins and killing cultists that have taken hold on the island. And a lot of these dungeons are geared towards higher level characters, with a range of between level 10 and level 20. You can also buy a house on the island that's richly furnished, including mannequins to display armor on, as you can see here, and a rich merchant with around 2,000 gold to barter with and transportation services. There's also a sizable kitchen and dining space. And you also find a second floor with lots of paintings, a guest bedroom, and naturally also a master bedroom as well. There's all of this and much more to be found on Strange Grove. For our NPC Mod of the Week this week, we have Kate's Critters Unleashed by Hoghead the Horrible. With this mod, you'll now find a variety of Western-style animals inhabiting the towns and farms of Morrowind. You'll see pigs and nisses taking a mud bath, as you can see here, and chickens clucking outside of merchant stalls in South Mora. Goats grazing along the hillsides of Aldvalathi, and cows moving along the farmlands of the Ascadian Isles region. With Kate's Critters Unleashed, you'll definitely find a lot more life in Morrowind's towns and cities, and also out in the middle of the farmlands, which now feel a little more like actual farms, with cows mooing in the distance and chickens just running amok. This week's new Meshes and Textures Mod of the Week is Velothi Architectura Vardenfeld by Tidy. This is a texture replacer set for the Velothi architecture in Morrowind, replacing the old textures with a high resolution and vanilla-friendly set of new ones. Here you can see the City of Vivec with these new textures, which also include new textures for the various Tamiri banners dangling down from above. And I really think these textures sort of serve to highlight a combination of tan and green color mixes that works very well for the Velothi architecture set and the City of Vivec in particular. And here you can see one of the plazas in Vivec with these new textures, and they have a nice, fairly detailed look to them, covering both the plaza floor and ceiling. And they're very much in keeping with what you might expect to find in vanilla Morrowind. And finally, here is a standard Velothi interior, and you can tell it's very much in keeping with the vanilla feel of Morrowind, but with a much better quality of texture resolution. Next up is our Modder's Resource Mod of the Week, and this week we have the Wanderer's Mod Pack 03 by the Wanderer. This Modder's Resource includes a wide variety of things, such as bottles, piles of logs, a number of different types of glassware cups, and also anchors, as you can see here. There's also a number of other random items, such as stockades for putting criminals and poorly behaved citizens in, and also a wide range of shipping and rigging equipment, like iron eyes, cleats, and rigging blocks. You can use these resources in your own mods, or do what I've done and use them to build a house in ModTown 2015, our new community project where everyone is welcome to contribute. Whether you're making a house, a shop, an NPC, or writing a book, you can include it as part of ModTown 2015, and you don't even need to be a modder to include some of that stuff. You can check out our announcement video for more details about that, and how you can participate. And you'll also notice that this resource package includes a weather vane, as you can see on top of this house here. And here we can see some of the resources on the interior. And you'll notice that each glass and bottle comes with unique icons. There's also a painting included in this set, and roughly 20 to 30 different variations of bottles. And here you can see a bunch of different types of bottles being used in the kitchen, from small bottles to tall ones, to fat vials that can hold an assortment of different liquids. And these can be used to really clutter up your environments and add a bit of variety to your interiors. And there's also a very different type of resource included, such as sitting skeletons, shackles, light sources, and wooden toilet pieces, as you can see here. And other resources include crystal balls, scroll cases, hourglasses, tall glass things, as you can see next to the desk here, and more types of bottles, and also black satin pillows. And going back to ModTown 2015, it should be noted that this house is actually open for NPCs. So if you don't want to build your own house, you can claim this one and put an NPC in it, and write some dialogue for ModTown 2015. For our underrated mod of the week this week, we have Mage's Guild Quarters by Val's Fan. This mod adds a new expansion to the Balmora Mage's Guild, with additional sleeping quarters and storage that won't get you expelled for using them, which is quite useful when you're just starting out the game. Not to mention there's also lots of display space, some chests for extra storage, and an apprentice's enchanting and alchemy station. More or less perfectly balanced for new characters just starting out in the Mage's Guild. This week's Blast from the Past mod of the week is Akatos by Ivza. In Vivec, you'll encounter this NPC, who will tell you about a small village called Akatos that's in trouble. They'll offer you transportation, and should you accept it, you'll find yourself in the Akatos Council building, where you'll find a quest to help out the town by finding a particular dwarven contraption. And there's a fair bit of background story as well. Now, Akatos is a town made entirely out of interiors, and is supposedly located deep in the Velothian Mountains. The town is apparently deep underground, in order to protect it from the frigid cold of these Velothian Mountains, and the central quest revolves around the cold seeping in and blocking the town off from the outside world. And the town itself is composed of 4 central districts: the Farming District, the Market District, Services District, and Residences District. And despite the central quest about the cold and being blocked off from the outside world, there's still quite a lot to do here, with a number of services to check out, as you can see with this pub here, which has a number of beds to rent and a number of beverages to buy. And there's also some random quests, like helping this fellow out with finding a few clothes. Eventually, you'll get to crawl through a number of dungeons, such as caverns full of insects and rats, and these dungeons are fairly sizable, with a number of branching caverns and tunnels for you to go through, and the opponents here are fairly tough. You'll have to be around level 10 to 15 to really have a chance to survive, and you also face off against a few regular opponents, like these bandits here. And there's also Dwemer ruins to explore deep beneath the surface, and again, these are fairly dangerous ruins. You'll need to be probably around level 20 in order to be able to survive these. And you can do all of this and much more as you explore the mysteries of Ikatos. Finally, for our bonus mod of the week this week, we have the Road to Mournhold by Hingham Higher. In the Caldera Mages Guild, you'll now find a new quest to help out the chapter head find his lost brothers, which includes a lot of new dialogue and storytelling. And if you like a good story, you should really just read through all this dialogue because it is absolutely fantastically well told. If there's one thing that Hingham Higher does well, it is with telling a great story. This will eventually lead you to Vivek, where you'll find one of the brothers who tells you of a deal gone bad and the last brother who's in trouble. He'll eventually offer to teleport you to Mournhold for free, and again there is just a lot of dialogue here, and you should really take the time to read through it all. And this mod is a great and easy way to get to Mournhold before you have to get attacked by assassins or do any part of the main quest. That's it for this week. As always, you can find the download links for each mod shown down in the description below. And I'd really just like to take a moment and thank you guys for supporting the channel over the last year. I don't think I would have been able to release half the videos that we've made without your guys' support. And hopefully we can keep it up for another year to come. And I really hope that you guys will, stop by and check out ModTown 2015 and maybe contribute and help make history. And I'll see you guys all next week with another 13 mods for your viewing pleasure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.